So let's quickly go ahead and try to create one table. I'll create session 3 table or something, or some meaningful table. My expenses. See, the moment I created my expenses table, the name was automatically populated,
Yeah.
right? ServiceNow
Yeah.
system automatically populated it. Now, before I create this table, I need to go and select appropriate scope. Right now, the application that I have chosen here is device tracker application. I don't want to do that. I want to choose global application right now. So I'll go ahead and use global, and then I'll my expenses, right? And when I'm into global application, the prefix that is applied is U underscore, right? Now, here you see a control which is extends table, right? Now, extending table means it's the same concept of inheritance and a concept of super classes and base classes and child classes. Meaning, if you are extending a table, you are also able to retrieve values from the parent table, right? So you have a parent-child concept. So here you are able to extend any table. Like there are some base tables. For example, if you want to extend a task table, which is kind of a base table for many tables, so you can go ahead, hit this link, and when you hit it, you will get list of all the tables available, and you pick any table from here, and you extend it, right? Now, when you extend this table, let's do this. Let's try to find out a table. I'm going to extend task table, all right? Now, I'm not going to create any module, or I am not going to create any menu as well. I'll leave this. We will talk about what this is. And now I'm not providing any columns to this table, no control, no application accesses. I'm just going to save it, right? So the point that I want your attention to be here is I'm not supplying any columns and I'm saving it. But I chose task table. Alright. So let's go into I'll go to the table list so I am able to search easily my expense. My expenses. When I go into see I didn't supply any table column, but I can see that there are 66 columns supplied to this table now. See my expenses, and I have 66 columns, right?
Yeah.
And the reason for these 66 columns is we extended this table, task table, right?
Yeah.
Now when we extended this task table, all the columns from this table became part of it, right? You are able to see the columns from the task table.
Yeah.
Also, there are few default columns that ServiceNow creates, right? Uh, and the default columns will be the created by, the sys the updated by, right? So these are the columns. I'll go ahead and create one more without extending to show you. This is my expenses. One, I'm not going to create any module. I'm not going to extend any table either. I'm just submitting it. When I submit it and I open it,
Yeah.
see these are the default columns getting created, right?
Okay.
It creates created, updated, updates, created by, updated by, and sys ID,
Exciting.
right? right? SysID, we know for each individual record you have a unique ID which is known as SysID, right? So any record that you
Yep.
create in this table will be stored within SysID field. All right. So
Mm-hmm.
so this way, when you create table, you also create some columns by default, right? And if you extend table, you extend columns from the parent table, the table that you are extending. All right.
Yeah.
Now let's go back into the my expenses one and create some table columns, right? So these are the custom columns. But let's go ahead and create one column, which is I'll have to first choose currency because this column I want to have as, you know, amount or something,
Mm.
right? So this will be my amount column where the amount of expense that I have done. So that's my currency type column that I have added here.
Mm.
Then another column could be, I'll keep it as a string, and it will be name of the expense. All right. See, the
Mm.
column name populates automatically.
Automatically, right?
Yeah. And I'm saving it. Max length I need to define, so I'm defining it as 45 and submitting it. So this table now has
Mm.
two custom columns and five default columns. All right. Let's go ahead and update it. All right. Now, if you
Mm.
have to access this table, if you have to see what is the content of this table, I've talked about typing in the name of the table here. So I copied the name of the table here, and then I can do dot list, which is list, right? Table name dot
Mm.
list. So this opens up the list of records within the table, right? Now
Mm.
when I hit new, I can go ahead and create a record into the table, all right? I
Mm.
can type
Mm.
in $544 and name of the expenses, let's say uh, flight expense,
Mm.
right? Or something. And I'm going to save
Mm.
it. When I save it, the record gets created into my table, right?
Mm.
Next expense could be, let's say, $10 lunch expense, right?
Mm.
And I'm going to submit it, right? So this way,
Mm.
you are going to create your records within the table, right? And
Mm.
this is very simple. See, we created this table and then you are able to add new records to the table using this new button, right?
Right.
Now, this is not the only way of inserting a record into the table, right? This is the simplest way of inserting a record into the table,
Mm.
right? So we just saw how to create table using this create table button, right?
Yeah.
Now I'll go back to the table one more time. Where is my expenses one? Now when I hit this my expenses table, I am able
Mm.
to see the columns listed here. All right. Now you can
Mm.
select these columns. For example, if I select created,
Mm.
it shows me how to access this element. So programmatically, if you have to access this element, what you will do is you will copy this. This says table name dot sys created on, which is the field name,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So programmatically, when you have to access this, you will do like this. Go to the table, go to the column, get the element name, right?
Okay.
This one will be sys created by,
Mm.
right? Likewise, if I go to amount, This will be U element U my expenses 1 dot U underscore amount, right? Which is my custom column name. So this is how you access the columns programmatically. All right. Now, if you need to see the properties of these columns, you can do that too. For example, when I hit amount, and I need to see the properties related to this amount column, I can go ahead and see the name of the element is U underscore amount. It's active, array false. The attribute on this column is omit underscore sys underscore original is equal to true, which is the default attribute attached to it, right? You'll also see something like type equals 3, right? Which shows that it's type 3 type equals 3 is probably it's for currency, which is showing you as type description as currency, right? So we can refer these values into some table, which is probably a type table or something. So it is showing you that it's currency field. Um, it is sortable, which is true. Spell check is false. Stuff like that, right? So these are the properties that you can get from these columns that you have within the table, right? Now, if you need to edit this table, you will select the table first. We have it selected. You go and select edit table from the bottom of the page. Hit this edit table and you get the same view. To edit the table, you can add more columns, delete columns, right? Update the type of it, change the default field, change the display field, etc. Right? Now, so that's editing the table. There is another button here that you might ask what this is, which is known as schema map. When I hit this schema map, see this is basically a tool to represent the relationship of one table to other tables within the system. Right?
Like the ER diagram, right?
Yeah, ER diagram.
Like the entity relationship.
Yeah, exactly. So when I open up this schema map for this table, I see this table here, which is isolated, right? Now I also see with these 4 relationships, which is showing you as show reference tables, show referencing tables, show extended tables, and show extending tables, right? Right now, this is an isolated table. There is no reference table right now. Neither this table is referencing any other table, nor it is being referenced by any other table. Neither it is extended or nor it is extending any other table. So this is an isolated table that you can see. If we go back to my expenses table, where we extended task table into it, right? If I hit schema map for this table, I'll see that my expenses table is now associated to these many tables. And of course the task table is here, right? Right? But since the task table is in itself, you know, having relationship with these other tables, so my expenses table indirectly gets related to all of these tables, right? Because these are task relationships. All right. Now,
Here, now the question.
yeah,
For example, when we see in relational database, right?
right,
Tables are related to each other by using the primary foreign key relationship with
right, right,
using that relationship, and then you can see even the cardinality, which is a one-to-one or one-to-many relationship between the table, or is it many-to-many relationship?
right, right.
How is the concept here in the ServiceNow
Same concept.
database? Okay.
Same concept. Everything that you have learned in databases, the same concept carries here as well, right? You will have one-to-one relationship, one-to-many relationship. It's up to you to decide the relationship type, right? How do you want to,
Right. That's
right?
yeah.
So you will see everything that you have done in databases, you will have here. The only thing that you don't have here is to write SQL scripts. You don't have to write SQLs, right? Because ServiceNow has simplified it. You have a
Yep.
simplified way of accessing records from the table, which is known as glide record, right? So they have written some sort of class that will be utilized to very simply access data from the tables. We will talk about it later.
Okay. Sure.
Now, I'm going to remove some of the relationship type here. For example, I removed show reference tables, right? The relationship that now we are looking into a show referencing table. So my expenses is a referencing task table, so you have a reference here. If I remove this, it will have show extended tables. So only task table is being extended by my expenses table, so you have it here. When I remove this, and we are left with show extending tables, so there are no tables which are extending the my expenses table, so you do not have that type of relationship, right? You get it?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So the only relationship that you can see here is task table is being extended by my expenses table, so you have this relationship. All right. Now you have the list of elements here and the list of elements here as well. Same elements. This
These are
will
the column names.
These are the column names, yeah.
Okay.
Right. So you get to
And the
see,
data type. Is that, okay.
yeah, data
Yeah.
type.
Data type.
Yeah. So this shows you everything, gives you a good understanding of how tables are related. All right. Now, if you remember, my expenses one has two records into it, right? If you want to delete it, you have to hit delete all records and type in delete here and hit OK.
Oh.
Right? When you
Wow.
do that and you go back to u underscore my underscore expenses one dot list. See, we don't have any record now because we deleted that table record.
Now, what if I want only to delete like one record?
Then you have to selectively delete it from here, right? Within the table, you can go ahead and let's go back. We'll have to first create it. See, if you have to delete it, you have to go into the table. To delete individual or multiple records, you have to select it. And then within this drop down, you have this delete action. Hit delete action and hit delete. So you can delete individual records from there. All right.
Yeah.
Now let's go back to tables and columns one more time. Now, if I scroll down a little bit more, I can see index creator here, right? It's the same concept from the databases. If you want to create indexes on table, right? Select the table here, create the index, choose the column name. Since this table does not have any column name, all of the columns in this table is from the task table, so you are not able to see the list of columns here, right?
Yeah.
But when I hit the my expenses table, I'll be able to see the columns from my table, and I can go ahead and create an index on the amount column, right? And this way, when I hit create index, an index will be created for this table, right? it is saying after the index is created, it will send me an email stating that this was created. So stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Mm.
Now in this table, when the index gets created, you will be able to see the index here in the list, right?
Mm.
So
Mm.
as the index is created, you will be able to see the index here in the list. All right.
Mm.
Now, if I go back to some other table, for example, let's talk about this matrix result. If I am to this matrix result, you see here some of these elements are having bullets. Some of these are having, the plus button, which is expandable buttons, etc. Right?
Mm.
You might ask what these are, right? See,
Yeah, that seems. Mm.
see, the plus buttons are showing you plus plus buttons and plus this tabular button are showing you
Mm.
that these are extended tables to this table, right?
Mm.
This is another table. Assessment group is another table, and you can expand this assessment group table to see the list of columns from it,
Mm.
right?
Okay.
Now there is another level of another nesting happening here. The assessment group is also containing a table which is known as domain table. You can expand to see domain table contains these number of columns. The domain table
Mm.
also contains the cost center table, and the cost center table is having these columns. And this cost center table
Mm.
contains location, and this location table contains company, and within the company you have contact. Within the contact you have
Mm.
company cost, right? This way, all of these tables are related,
Mm.
all right? But at the top level, you have the matrix result column table here, and the matrix result table extends tables like assessment group, assigned to, domain, instance, metric definitions, all right?
Mm.
These columns like NPS value, these columns will be accessed directly, and these are the columns of this matrix result table, right? Now you may
Yeah.
ask, how do we access columns from this extended table, right?
Yeah.
Programmatically, if we have to do that, how will be doing that, right? See, I'm going to access the table column created from the assessment group table, which is accessed by the matrix result table. So when I hit created, see there is a concept of dot walking,
Mm.
and you know how that happens in inheritance, right? So
Yeah.
here is the parent table, not parent, here is the child table, which is the matrix table, ASMT underscore metric underscore result. Here is the other table, the parent table, which is assessment group table, and here's the column from the assessment group table, right? So you are
Mm.
doing
Mm.
child table dot parent table dot column name,
Uh,
all right? Child table
yeah.
dot parent table dot column name.
And,
If you have to access only parent table's value, you will do only child tables column, you will do child table dot column name,
mm.
right? So
Yeah.
by dot walking, you will get the column name from or value from the table by using like this,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
All right, so that's that. Now there is a button which is create application and button is browse application. Let's look into browse applications. When I do browse applications, I see there are two custom applications created, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm.
if you remember, when I was going to create that table, I removed this device tracker application from here and went to global application,
Yeah.
right? So when you create custom applications, you get the list of those custom applications here. And along with that custom application, you create an application file. Like we saw in that diagram, on the top level, you had the application file, right? So that application file gets created, and along with that, the update set gets created. Update set is kind of a repository to all the changes that you are doing. So all the changes that you are doing
Mm.
will be stored in one file, right? and that file can be used to transport or move data from one environment to another environment.
Right.
Right? So you get all those applications created here. Now, if you have to create applications, and I have also talked about everything in ServiceNow is a table. Every screen that you create is associated to some sort of table, right? So one way of doing is to create applications on the basis of a table that is created or you are creating, right? On the basis of this package table, you can create one application, right? That's what it is showing. It is showing that you can create an application and choose that table to be its table, applications table, right? How to create
Wow.
applications in a decent way, we'll be coming back to it, and we'll be creating applications tables later. All right. Now, right now, I want to show you some of the system tables which will be used majority of the times, right? For example, let's just start with the user tables. When I go into the user tables, I go into sys user tables, right? So sys user is the system table for the user records, right? So this will give you all of the records from the user table and all of the users within the system, right? So even if your ServiceNow system is associated to your LDAP, right, and it pumps in data on a daily basis or something, you will see the most updated record into this user table. All right. So this is a
Yeah.
one place for all of the users within the system, which is the system user table. Right. Now, have you used Oracle database?
No, I'm a SQL guy.
You're a SQL guy. So,
Yeah.
but in Oracle, there is a table known as tab. In SQL, I think that is, I think within DBO you have some. What is a table named for? List of all the tables that you have within a schema in
Uh,
SQL.
the list of all tables.
Yeah.
I use like
I think that's
sys
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 tables.
information.
Sys
Yeah, sys
information.
tables. Yeah.
Sys tables, I believe.
Sys tables. Actually, sys tables. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that, right?
Yeah,
So
sys tables.
on the same lines, here within ServiceNow, there's one table which is sys underscore db underscore objects, I believe. Let me see. No. Uh, Wait a second. I have that pointer here. So basically, there's a table that contains list of all the tables, and the name of the table is, I'll just get it from here. SysDB object. So
Okay.
I didn't have to put S there. I did
Yeah.
SysDB objects.
Okay.
It's SysDB object, and you see the list of tables, right? So we already saw that this is a table of table, but programmatically, if you have to access it, you need to know the name of the table, right? So SysDB object is the table that contains list of all the tables within the system. And right now you can see there are 2,642 tables within my instance. Here we see 2642 tables are there in my instance, right? Out of which we are accessing 20 tickets right now. All right? So
Right.
that's one important table. Another table is sys dictionary that contains additional details of each tables and definition for each column on each table, right?
Mm. Yeah.
So that's the dictionary table. Sys dictionary dot list, and it will show me the list of all the columns for each of the tables that you have within the system. And now you can see 24,815 dictionary records are there in this table. All
Mm-hmm.
right.
Mm-hmm.
So this
Yeah.
contains list. So this is dictionary is basically these contains all the attributes, parameters, etc. for each of the columns that you have created into the table. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So you have
Yeah.
that dictionary table here. So this is another system table that we should be knowing. Another system table is sys documentation that contains human readable labels and log languages information. For example,
Mm-hmm.
on the change form, so this is a form that you will be seeing. It contains various items, various input fields here on the screen, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now the details about these labels like number, requested by, category, configuration item, these kind of details are stored into sys documentation table, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
you will have the labels listed here and it will show what table it is associated to, etc. These kind of information will be stored within the label table, system documentation table. All right.
Mm-hmm.
If you have to see logs within the table, um, sys underscore log dot list. Now let me remember the name of the table. We'll go into syslog. Sys
Okay. This is okay.
syslog dot list. See, this has 52,977 records into it, right? And this is
Mm.
showing me the list of logs that was created by system, right? And stored into this table.
Mm.
Right? So whatever
Mm.
operation that we are doing, somehow the system is recording these logs within the system so that at a later point, if you have to investigate what happened into my system, you can use these logs to see what actually happened, right?
Right.
So this gives you a level of flexibility in debugging and finding out troubles within your system. The logs can easily be accessed from here as well. You go
Mm.
ahead here and type in logs. When you type in logs, you go to system logs and then you can filter out on the basis of different types of logs available. For example, if you want to see all the transactions logs, you hit transactions
Yeah.
and you will see all the transaction logs that were created on today, right? And URLs start with slash. So stuff like that you will be seeing. So that you can see here 148 transaction records were created today,
Mm.
right? If I go
Yeah.
transaction all user, I'll be able to see all user transactions. So there are some other additional parameters that were applied and I can see 135 records created here. If you are
Mm.
to see only email logs,
Mm-hmm.
it is saying that 2 emails were sent today, right? First
Mm-hmm.
one is test email, which is kind of a
Yeah.
scheduled email that I have. The second one is index creation result, success, right? And I should have
Yeah.
received one email. Yeah, here we go. We received this index creation result success email because we created that index on the table my
Yeah.
expense,
Exactly.
right? So that's why
Yeah.
we have this index creation success result email coming out into my system.
Mm-hmm.
All
Mm-hmm.
right. So it is showing that my system has sent out 2 emails today, right? One for a scheduled job, another one is for index creation,
Mm-hmm.
right? Other types of logs are also available. If you want to filter out on basis of warnings, you hit this, there is no warning today, errors. There are
Mm-hmm.
two errors today, right? One is saying mid server is down, another is saying this, whatever information is there. You can hit this link to see more details of this. You
Mm-hmm.
can do show log items to see more details, timestamp, level of logging, etc. and then more details if available, right? So this way, if you have to look into logs, you can go into the configuration section, system log section, and find out the logs about whatever transaction you are doing, whatever activity you are doing.
Mm-hmm.
You are anyhow saving that record within the logs.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's see if we have some more tables. Yeah, this is the audit table, sys audit. Sys audit is a audit table where you can see the, what are the operations that were done on the tables, right? For example, some of the records were deleted, right? You get that information here, who deleted that, right? It shows you that this record that was deleted by admin, right?
Mm-hmm.
The old value was deleted, the new value was also deleted, stuff like that, right? Let's go ahead and see the most updated one, right? The most updated one is saying me that it was done on the sys attachment table. Operation was deleted by system itself. Old value was deleted, new value was deleted. This is what it is saying. All right.
Yeah.
Now let's just scroll down. You can also find out on the basis of table name u underscore my underscore. That record is not here. Maybe it's not coming. That record is not here for some reason. Maybe that will be coming here after that gets permanently deleted. See, we deleted two records from the table, right? But if you want
Yeah.
to undelete it, do we have any option? Yes, we have an option here which is to undelete from undeleted records, right? You have to go into
Oh,
system
can we
definition.
delete and then restore?
Yeah,
Wow, this is new.
yeah, this is new. So you
The
can,
only thing we can do in SQL is by using the backup, right? To
right,
restore and then
right,
update the
right,
table. Yeah.
right. So you have this deleted records here, and you can go and find out. Let's try to find out the table name. U underscore my. Looks like it was permanently deleted.
Mm.
All 18 26. See, all you need to do is to pick the table from here, go into the
Mm.
table, verify the record here, and then you have to hit this undelete record.
Okay.
Let me try to see. For example, I go into this attendees table. I delete two records from here. Go to deleted records. See, I have the attendee table coming in here. I can select these two records. This was created today, 31st. I can select these two records here, and I can do undelete records,
Yeah.
right? So it undeleted. I can go back to attendees table, and I can see my two records are here. UI page user and empty record, right? If
Right.
I if I delete it, let's delete this record, UI page user gmail.com. The moment I delete it, I'll see that record here. Alright. Now if I delete from here as well, then you will not be able to retrieve it. So this is the last and final call for you. If you want to save your record, right? So this is,
if you delete here, that's it.
yeah, that's it. You're gone.
Yeah.
So that goes out, yeah. Right?
Like deleting from the recycle bin, right?
Right. Right.
That'll be deleted forever. But
Right.
as long as it is a recycle bin, we can restore.
Right.
Okay.
Right?
They're using, yeah.
That's a good feature. And the reason because I'm saying that is once we deleted records from production environment and that was done unintentionally, right? And then we were new to the tool and we didn't know how to retrieve that record, right? It was difficult and we needed those records because that was deleted unintentionally and that was a production record. So we had to get in touch with ServiceNow support and they then advised us to use this deleted records feature and get the data back, right? So this is a really very important feature for us developers because at some point you might delete some records, unintentionally, and then you have to retrieve it.
Yeah, it's a lot happens in my environment, and then I have to restore and then from the backup update all these things, right?
Yeah, and the good thing.
But this one makes it very easy.
Yeah, and the good thing is, the moment you delete that record, it preserves the record as is, meaning it will preserve the sys IDs, etc. as well, right? So you see this XML here. So this is the record being stored in XML format where it contains all of these information as it was stored into the table.
Yeah.
So exactly the same way it is stored here, and when you undelete it, exactly the same way it will be restored back into the table. Right? So you do not see any deviation, nothing changes, right?
Yeah.
It will look like the record was never deleted from your table. All right, so that's tables. Now, these are scripting. I want to come touch base on scripting at a later point. Right, apart from these system tables, we have already seen the user tables, we have already seen the groups table, roles table, accesses table, right? All these type of tables we have already seen. If you want to look into groups table, right? All that we need to know is the name of the table, groups table, right? We don't know what is the name of the group table. Groups is the label, right? So you need to know the name of the groups table. So you have to go here and search groups. Name of the group table is sys_user_group. All right.
Yeah.
So this way you can get the name of the table. You can get, if you want to get the records from the table, you can use sys_user_group.list and you will see all those values here. Sys_user_group dot list. All right. So if you want to see more system tables, you have to scroll through and get list of all of the system tables, sys_API, right? So this gives you API transaction stats, sys API stat, syslog, app scope, sys_scope, sys_app quota, sys_app version, right? Sys_auth profile, sys_audit role. So these kind of tables are there. At some point, you will be using these system tables, maybe to pull a report on the tables, maybe to create some records on the table. So these kind of activities you will be doing, right?
Yeah.
So that's pretty much of the tables. I think I'll take the next topic of importing data tomorrow. Since we have covered tables here and we know how to create tables, now we'll see how to import data into the table, because all we have seen today is to create a table and insert a single record into the table, right? Insert a record. We do that new record and you create a record one by one into the table, right?
Yeah.
Now since we have some time left, let's go here into the table and we'll be doing one more activity. If I do new table and I uncheck that create module and create mobile module, right? But if you have this create module selected, what you will do is you will create a module. See, this is the application. System clone is an application.
Oh, is that an okay? Yeah.
Yeah, system clone is an application, and within this application you have exclude tables module, right?
Okay.
So if you want to create a application, for example, marketing is an application for me, and this marketing event application was created, and within that application I created these modules so that the tables that I have will appear here as a module and I can access it. Alright? For example, if I create a table known as session 3, I want to create a module. I don't want to create a mobile module, and I want to associate it to marketing application. Right? I want to show this module session 3 into marketing events application. Right? So all I need to do is label it as session 3, name automatically populates, choose the module, add module to the menu which is marketing event, and submit it. When I do that, refresh the page, can you see the session 3s?
Yeah.
So this gives you a new module into the marketing application, right? And this module will present to you the list of records that you have within that table. Right now, we didn't specify any column, so this field is not showing me any column over here, right? But if you go and see attendees, there are several columns like email, first name, last name, marketing event, phone, updated. So you see a list of records here with all these columns listed here. All right?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. So session 3 was a table that I created and I added it as a module so that I can show that within an application here, right? And if I go and add some columns to it, let's do that as well. I'll right click, edit module. I'll go here into the session 3 module. Oh, I need to edit the table. So I'll go back to the tables and I'll do edit table and I'll put new column as, I can do it from here as well. From this screen, I can do it by column 1 and I can type it as string, give it a length of 45. I can do column 2, length as integer. I don't want to specify this. I can do username and I can pick a look of reference field. See, reference field is a type of field that you use to refer to any table. So I am using reference field here, and I am going to refer another table. Let's say I am going to refer users table, and I am going to save it. Right? So reference is a data type. By using a reference table, you can look up on another tables. Now I go back to marketing application, marketing event application, and I hit session 3, right? And now I can hit this new button, and I can see column 1 is coming up here, column 2 is coming up here, and username is a lookup to another table, which is user table. All right? So these two are string and integer fields. If I type it string here and integer here, we'll have it. And to pick a user from the user table, you will just have to select it. And you can save it. You can submit it.
What's the difference here? Submit and save? I see both of them.
Yeah. Let's do that.
Is there any difference?
If I save it, I save and stay on the same screen. When I submit it, I submit and go to the other back screen.
Okay, got it.
All right?
Yeah.
So if you have just to save it and stay on the screen and do some operations, you do save.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you do submit and go ahead. All right?
Yep.
So that's how you add fields on the table. That's how you create tables, edit tables, create indexes. Yeah, that's pretty much on the tables. An assignment for you will be to create some tables within your system and then create some columns and choose different data types, right? Right? There are different other data types, not just these. For example, if I go back here, tables and columns. If I go and edit table, if I try to add one more column here, column 3 or something, and I hit the type, see it's audio, choice, color, condition string, conditions, currency. There are 43 data types available right now here,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
So I'll encourage you to play with these data types, create some tables and see how you can, utilize these data types on the tables. All right?
Okay.
That will be a good exercise for you.
Definitely. Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
All right then. That's it for today. We'll be talking tomorrow and discuss more things.
Sure. Okay.